I never thought my reaction to a movie made by somebody who directed this would be, oh, yawn. Passengers, directed by Morton Tidlum, director of The Imitation Game, which was awesome and one of my favourite movies of 2014, and tells the story of a cruise liner through space with passengers on board, and however, two passengers played by Chris Pratt and Jennifer Lawrence wake up 90 years too early, and they have to figure out what happened, why did they wake up, and what's the real mystery behind all this. Now, Passengers, for many people, was one of the most anticipated movies of the year, considering The Imitation Game was a great movie and the concepts and the story looked brilliant and so original and fascinating. We could have another great sci-fi movie on our hands, and I was also interested in it. I wasn't sure what to make of it, but I was at least looking forward to it. It looked like it could be a good sci-fi movie, but after seeing it, yeah, it's not good. It's mediocre. It has mediocre written all over it. In comparison to The Imitation Game, boy, this is a step down. This is just meh. But don't get me wrong, I don't hate this film. This isn't the worst movie of the year, as there are still a few redeeming qualities and originality to it. First of all, I love the visuals. It looks great. It's a stunning film, and the look of the ship is pretty spectacular. The outside, the inside looks so boring and uninspired, but the outside, the ship, man, that looks cool. Man, they must have had fun designing it. And the music by Thomas Newman was actually pretty good. I mean, I think he did the score for Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, and that clearly shows he's a talented composer. And it was interesting at first, in the very beginning, seeing these two characters wake up and discover just living in isolation all alone, and just living on their own and figuring out what's going on. You could really connect with them in that part of the film. And the android waiter, he was pretty funny. He provided the comic relief of the movie, but that's all the good in this film. The rest of it, complete wasted potential, complete disappointment. Not only does this film rip off in many other much better sci-fi films, like having passengers sleep on a ship for God knows how many years. That's a complete rip-off of the opening Alien 2. I mean, the trailers advertised it and marketed it as an original sci-fi film, but instead it's trying to be every frigging sci-fi film ever made. As for our two protagonists, pretty much the only two characters we see for the majority of the film, I wanted to love them. They are portrayed by great actors, Jennifer Lawrence and Chris Pratt, but they are so boring as characters, and they could have been just friends. They could have had a great friendship dynamic where they're working together, and it was basically interesting, like I said, when they were just on their own and trying to figure out what was happening after they'd woken up. But once they meet, they just fall in love immediately and are attracted to each other. Oh my gosh, they just went to make this movie into just a romantic comedy. I am not kidding. This is supposed to be a grand sci-fi adventure. The romance does not need to take up this much of the film, and not only that, but their romance doesn't work because Jennifer Lawrence is 25 and Chris Pratt is like 40, and they actually have sex. Yes, that does happen. What the fuck? That's just ew. And not only that, but the film's story, it's just story is terrible. It had great potential. This could have been one of the great sci-fi stories of our time, but instead the writers chose to not care and just get Chris Pratt and Jennifer Lawrence just because they were popular, and completely waste them as generic lovers in a generic romance that happens to take place on a ship, then what was the point of this being a sci-fi film if this feels more like a romance film? And not only that, but the film is just nothing much happens in this film at all. You think it's leading up to something about 5 times in this film, but by the time you get there, they move on like it was no big deal. Oh, then so why should you care? Why should you get excited for anything to happen at all? Yeah, I was so bored watching this movie. I just wanted to take a nap many times during it, and I was this close to falling asleep. And the pacing, my god, the pacing. This film just drags as fuck. This is one of the slowest movies of the year. Talk about a story with nothing happening. This whole movie is a nothing film. It's not dramatic. It's not engaging. It's not inspired. It's a complete waste of your money. Just please, guys. I mean, if you just want to see a movie this December, just skip Passengers. It's really a nothing film. It is not worth the price of admission. Just go watch Rogue One again. I didn't say Rogue One was a great film, but I liked it. It's leagues better than Passengers, easily.
I give Passengers 2 stars out of 5.
So yeah, what a disappointment for Morton Tidlum. I expected more. Is this one of the worst movies of the year? Well, it's not quite the worst, but it's up there. Well, I love you guys. Thank you for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this review, and I have some Christmas videos coming, as it's that my favourite time of year. I'm getting all festive. I will be reviewing Elf tomorrow, and will be giving my top 10 best Christmas movies, so stay tuned for that. And what do you think of Passengers? Please comment, let me know if you like the video, and subscribe. Please follow on Twitter and on Google+, and I'll see you next time. Bye, guys.